Good evening, traders. Once again, this is Alfred from BinaryOptionsTutor.com. I'm here today to share with you a frighteningly effective indicator my brother and I simply call this custom indicator, the count. I'll be showing an example trade at the end using the count. This indicator could someday save your account, but the vampire folklore I'll be sharing along with it could someday save your life. Okay guys, let's just dive right into this little bit of vampire folklore. A lot of us are probably familiar with Count Von Count from Sesame Street. Count Von Count really can be tied into a lot of ancient vampire folklore because you see, the Count has what we now call in modern days Arithmomania, and this is a compulsion to count everything in the different actions that are going on around you. And this is essentially what our indicator, the count, is all about. Right here, if you're familiar with the Greeks, you could call this, well, this is time itself is referred to as theta, and if you really think about it, candlesticks are really just compressed graphical representations of time and price. What the count does is count consecutive bullish or bearish candles, and we've set up different windows based on our own experience and studies, different windows for each of the different time frames that you can set your charts to. Now there are no windows, and the count will not show up. He'll fly away like a bat if you go down to the minute chart, because our research indicates that there's just too much noise and not enough continuity to trade off of a 1 minute chart. But 5 minutes and above, you're going to have windows and the count will be displayed. Right here we can see there are 3 consecutive candles. There were 3 at the time, and the long and the short count for consecutive bullish candles was at 7. Now let's pop over to a chart and talk about something. Right here we've got 2 and 2, and this represents the start of the day. It would have been the day before. The day is I'm recording this, so it's more than a day ago. This would be like more than 2 days ago. And let's look right here. We see 2, and that next candle is a bullish candle, and that's just all this is about. Right here again we see 2 consecutive candles. There goes followed by a bullish candle, 2 consecutive candles, followed by a bullish candle, 2 consecutive candles, followed by a bullish candle. Now I like to have more than 2. If I'm on a chart that's not this large. This is an hourly chart, so obviously even the long and the shorts are not going to be as long, just because this is a larger pocket of time. Like in the trade we're going to watch next, the trade I'm doing expires in a little over 20 minutes, but I'm trading using the count on a 5-minute chart, so you'll notice that there'll be a lot more bars and potential, and you'll see longer streaks. And even on this hourly chart, there's a pretty good streak right there. What you want is to take the count and use time to help you be patient and play that long game like the vampires do, and then combining it with a good level, like for instance right here, we've got a level at the support 1 on our pivot points, and we saw that little bounce right there. So the count can give you points of exhaustion and theta just related to time, and you can use those good levels along with RSI, etc., overbought, oversold, and combining those makes some very good hypothesis without getting into a lot of the math and a lot of the counting that's necessary over all of these different windows and spans of time. Stay tuned for the trade, guys. We're going to include this new custom indicator for free, available on our site at binaryoptionstutor.com. See you guys on the next video. Alright guys, okay, we're back around the end. You can see we got a minute and some change here. Meandered a lot after that long count that we had. We just started to really see some ultra consolidation because we were reaching for that point of exhaustion. And again, we weren't using we were using candle math. Call it candle math, call it price action, whatever, you know. Call it statistical arbitrage, because I've noticed that some people will, you know, whatever sounds more sophisticated and makes you feel strong, as my brother David would say. That's it. And we're around the very end here, and the only thing we knew at the time is we had already seen an extended period of consecutive candles going up. We saw that break in those consecutive candles. When I was taping, we could have gotten in there, but to be honest with you, that little candle right there, that probably would have been squeezed out by the spread on your broker. So that's also another reason I didn't take anything there. I took this trade here with about 20 minutes left that will expire at the end of the hour, because price action was telling me that we were in that tight consolidating phase ever since like a couple of years ago. I talked about the ball being thrown up, and it doesn't necessarily just drop instantly back down. Sometimes you'll see a slowdown in the acceleration, and then you'll see the ball move and start actually falling down, and that's what this consolidating area here is in the price action. And there you see that trade there did expire a winner. Recently I've been even doing some of these little poppy minute, couple of minute trades even, but you know, not using the count, more using volume spread analysis for that. But I like to use the count. The count will let you get acquainted with candle math and using those statistics on 5 minutes all the way up, you know, to the dailies. We didn't enable minute counts because there's just too much noise, and it's not really it's not as efficient when your pocket of data is only like a minute. You know, if we know here even now that we've seen 6 consecutive running 5-minute candles, it really wouldn't help to go down to the minute area, because you would see potentially even 5 times that on the minute area. So that's it. That's a very simple but very powerful indicator. When we started, we were using candle math just a lot. I talked about it in the ESP room, and showed the earlier amalgamations of the count. what we've done now is to lock in different time frames and go over some statistics for a long count and a short count, and to use these dark and light areas so that you can very quickly at a glance get an idea of where you are in that consecutive count, and know when you're, if you were somewhere like here, at a point that you're peaking on the short count and almost peaking on the long count, that would be a place to start looking for that exhaustion, like I just did on that trade there.